All right. Episode 5 of the podcast, Bits and Beats. That wasn't because I wasn't sure. I just wanted to leave some mystery. Episode 5, and I was sure of it.
Build up.
Mm-hmm. They're like, what's he gonna say? And we got Jamie Lynn Randall. That feels almost like too much. I feel like I gave too much information giving you her middle name too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've revealed her address somehow.
That's the Instagram. That's the Instagram handle.
It is her Instagram handle. So I'm not doing that. You guys, if you just look her up on socials, you can find that. And you can probably find her address. What an intro. Guys, please don't do that. Please don't be a creep. Be just a normal person. Like and support her, but don't follow her. Like, follow her socially, social media. Don't follow her in the world.
This is going great.
Thanks, man. Oh, see, I told you, man. You're a good hype man. I need that. It's like when you're bombing on stage. Hey, no, you're doing great. Everybody loves you. No, they're just like they're taking a break because they've been laughing so hard. That's why they're not laughing for this 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So this episode was a great episode. We got good friend Jamie Lynn Randall. She's a awesome Bible counselor. Has worked as a worship leader as well. Just great spirit. Shares her testimony. It's awesome. But before we get more into that, check out the Bits and Beats socials. We're on Instagram, Bits and Beats Pod. We got the patreon.com/Bits and Beats, where you can find all the exclusive content, where we just basically just talk trash about the guests. I'm just kidding. We don't do that. But I don't know. Find out. Maybe we do. Check out as well the YouTube channel to watch the full video, as well as the clip channel for short, little funny nuggets, deep inspirational nuggets, McChicken nuggets. We have so many nuggets. The Denver Nuggets. They're also on there. And then we have, we're also on every podcast platform and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything. Google has a podcast thing too. Right, Ronnie?
It does. Yeah.
I should know that. Yeah, they do. That was just a fun little, I was pretending I didn't know. I have some show dates coming up if you want to watch some live stand-up. August 20th, I'll be in Sacramento at the Sacramento Comedy Spot. August 29th, I'll be in Los Angeles at the Ford Amphitheater in LA. It's a Pinoy Filipino mixed showcase, variety showcase. So it's Apple Diap, Ruby Ibarra, Adria Rafael, Rex Navarrete, and many others. There'll be a singer from the Philharmonic out there, the Filipino a cappella group. It's going to be a blast. And I am trying to figure out if I'm going to do a dirty set or clean set for that. I don't know what.
Oh.
Yeah, what do Filipinos want? And like, because it's such a classy venue. If I sing Asian Guys Can Smash, it's gonna, you know, and it's like echoing, like the acoustics are like really beautiful. I don't know if that's the right call or not.
Well, people should come out and see what you came up with. Yeah, what you decided.
Yep, that's the only way to find out, because I'm not going to talk about it afterwards. So yeah, we got a great episode for you guys. Jamie Lynn Randall, we made an awesome beat about. It's kind of had to do with like dating and Christianity, which was such an interesting topic. Like I said, we talked about her testimony, which was very moving and emotional and inspiring.
Wait, before you do that, what is a testimony? Because during that podcast, I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Testimony. So it's not like, you know how you give a testimony of like on Yelp or like a orthodontist's page of like, yeah, Dr. Randall was a great doctor. So testimony in the Christian world is like your story of how you came to faith.
Oh, gotcha.
So like, you know, if I go to like an AA meeting or something and somebody shares, that's not a good example. Like it's always something like debaucherous and then I was saved.
Oh, okay. I see.
It's like, yeah, this crazy night of partying, man, like hookers, this, that. And then I got saved. No, so but yeah, it's not always that, but just like those kind of stories, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a good disclaimer. So on this, and also for people who still don't know, there's 3 of us talking on this. It's me, Ronnie, our producer, and Jamie. Some people are still like, hey, is there a third guy?
This is the voice in you guys' head, man.
Yeah, dude. I know they're like, who? What? I heard someone saying like, yeah, you're doing great. What is that?
You're doing
What
great.
is that?
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay. Stop crying. It's weird if you keep crying. You can cry, but just stop it.
You're strong.
Yeah, so there's a third guy. What, any other notes? Oh yeah, testimony means it's like your story of how you came to faith. We make beats. Yeah, I think that's it. All right.
It's pretty good.
Cool, guys. If you didn't fast forward through this part, I hope you enjoyed that. And enjoy this episode, Bits and Beats with Jamie.
Sometimes it gets cut off at the beginning.
Yeah, Ronnie, let us know when we got the green light.
Okay, you're good.
Oh, yeah, I can tell the light is lit and it's green. Guys, we got a very special, awesome guest today. Tonight, whenever you're listening to this podcast, you could be driving and it's night, you're on a dark road and you're looking for a light, and here it is. Follow it. What can I say about our beautiful, smart, soulful, just talented guest here?
Yes.
Yeah. Keep them coming? Oh, don't stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
like, no, stop.
Just mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, physically healthy. You're just doing all the things that are the best for yourself. We got Jamie. Do you like to go by Jamie Randall? I know your Instagram handle is Jamie Lynn.
Yeah, just Jamie. Jamie Lynn, Jamie Randall, whatever
Jamie
comes
Lynn,
out of your mouth.
Jamie Lynn Randall, whatever the spirit guides you to say or do. Let her be all of it. My introduction with Jamie was, well, through friends, but also my first thing I saw of yours on TikTok was she made a post, I hope I'm describing this right, to sort of help women out of like almost sexual assault situations. Is that a good way to describe
Kinda,
it?
I guess, yeah.
Do you want to you introduce it? I'm all like,
you
you know what?
did it.
Hey, Jamie, you want to introduce yourself, actually? Well, okay, the best way I can describe it was you made a post that was when women were in a situation that they wanted to get out of. It was like a pretend phone call where they're talking with you and to help them get out of some precarious situations. And
Right.
And I saw that, and that was before sort of the work that you're doing now. And I noticed that your entire like TikTok and social media pages were like you had humor and it was funny and they had some silly stuff, but also I could tell there was a depth to it. You know? And so that's definitely what I think definitely attracted me to your page and to like want to talk to you, and I felt like a lot of people can benefit from just hearing what you have to offer and say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to? Okay. I'm supposed to explain it. Yes, you're kind of right.
Yeah.
Like, it was a video. I literally saw somebody do this video of like pretending to call someone in an Uber when they're uncomfy. And so I'm like, wow, this is trash quality. I'm going to remake it. So I remade it.
Remixed.
And remix, what?
Yeah.
But I remade it like a little bit better. And all of a sudden it was like, how about 40 million views for you? So yeah, that's what happened.
So wild. And before that, like what was the highest amount of views you had before that to like 40 million? You know?
Like 300.
That's so wild. So like,
actually that's a lie, like 20,000.
Yeah, well, which is still a lot, but I mean, 40 million views is a lot. So like, what was going through your mind? I mean, just from anybody, that's like a big deal to just all of a sudden blow up on TikTok like that after a post.
It was a little weird. At first I was watching it and then I like refresh it and get like thousands and thousands of like notifications every time I would refresh.
Yeah.
And homegirl's just sitting at church, trying to hear from the Lord. And yet I'm on TikTok. So it was kind of like,
it doesn't say that thou shalt not be on TikTok at church. I don't see that.
I feel like that's not in the 10 Commandments, so I think I'm okay.
But I get. Yeah. And maybe God is speaking to you through notifications.
You never know. You never know.
We'll start there. Well, I feel like that's interesting because even I was going to ask you about, interpreting. I'm a Christian as well. I think I've talked about that a little bit on this podcast, and that's why I was excited to have you, because just want to share more, like just deeper aspects of things in the podcast.
Sure.
how do you like differentiate between like God speaking to you and like, or getting like some kind of spiritual message versus just, oh, this is my thought or my desire? Is that a thing you ever think about? Are we jumping straight into it?
We're just jumping straight in. It's like, hey, this is the Jamie, and so what do you think about God? Like,
I can't help, when I was writing out all my questions, I couldn't help but like, these are all the things I really would, if I called you, would ask you about. So.
Okay. So, I mean, I feel like, your thoughts, but then if you are like pushing in for more of God, you're going to know what he sounds like. Mm-hmm. And the Holy Spirit will kind of sound like you, but you'll just know in your gut, you'll just know it like, okay, yeah, that's from God. I need to do it. Because there'll be like a nudge that you need to do that. Ooh, or that it's from
nudge.
him.
That's a good word. Yeah.
But my own thoughts are going to like fade away,
For sure.
That's the best way, like best humanly way I can describe it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And I didn't mean to just jump straight into God right away.
That's great. You jump in.
We could okay. We could lean into other stuff too. This is stuff I'm like really curious about. We'll go back a step too. Like when we how did you get started like making the things that you were making on TikTok? Because you were doing a whole different thing, I think, to the start, and I wanted to kind of track the evolution of that.
Yeah. So I started out like, obviously pandemic, everybody got a TikTok and I was so embarrassed about it. But then I just posted just the most random stuff just to be dumb and just to like take up my time. Mm-hmm. And then I did this and it was like, took off. And then everybody would reach out to me and be like, hey, thank you for your content. Like you uplift me and this is what I'm going through. And people would just like dump and word vomit on me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why. And then I was kind of like, okay, well, what do I need to do with this? What's the next action from this? Because everybody seems like they need someone to talk to and they need counseling. This world is kind of whack. So then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a counselor. And I did it. Wow. And now we're like, in 2 months, I'm almost fully booked.
That is insane. Is it, okay. So following that path, when you were doing those TikToks and everyone's reaching out, did you already go to church and everything? Mm-hmm. You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so... And what were you doing as a job back then?
I was a special education teacher.
Okay. So it was still sort of in the psychology field in some ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Your clientele now, being fully booked as a counselor, do they come a lot from social media? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Almost half of my clients came from my social media.
So you're a full-on entrepreneur. Like you sort of just built this business up kind of yourself. I mean,
I guess
God help other people too, but I always respect navigating that path just on your own. So then how did you sort of transition from teaching special ed to like learning how to counsel to having just a fully booked schedule of counseling?
Yeah.
I think that's valuable for anyone to know, so
sure.
That's such a valuable thing to share.
Yeah. So actually January or December of last year, I post something on my story of like, oh, I'm going to be a counselor one day. Cause someone asked me like, well, what do you want to do? Cause I do Q&A Saturdays sometimes. Someone asked me, well, what do you want to do? Like, what's your goal? I'm like, I want to be a counselor. And I posted on my story and then someone reached out. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I posted on my story that I want to be a counselor. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, we're starting this counseling business and we want you right now.
No way.
2 days. Yeah. And so
that's amazing.
So yeah, I just quit my job and did it.
So it that fast, I mean, I love that. And it's just such a like I'm trying to, it's like as if I'm acting as if I was a counselor and I can't talk about God and Jesus.
Yeah.
Like I try to use words that are more widespread so that way people don't feel left out by like language that I'm using if they're listening. But it is such a blessing, like to ask for it and get it that fast. Mm-hmm. And I loved one of your TikToks about dating. It was like, it's something about like asking for a man and it's like another lesson.
Yes.
Like here's another lesson. All right. And another lesson.
That one's always fun.
Yeah. Like, I've definitely been through that in dating where I'm like, oh, this is the one. And like, God's like, no, it's a learning experience.
Right. Yeah. Play a little electric piano behind that one. It's a learning
Oh, yeah,
experience.
yeah. We can talk about that. Ooh, I think this is the one, God. Oh, but then she ghosted me, God. And God's like, that's because you need to learn how to love yourself.
Ooh.
That was good. I mean, we could keep going. Jane, why don't you tell me about some lessons that you've gotten? You know, there's more I want to ask you about that stuff, but in your like seasons, you know, how about dating lessons?
Oh Lordy.
That God has given you. Yes, Lordy.
Oh Lordy.
Lordy, Lordy, Lordy.
So I think a lesson in dating that I've learned is to not rely on that for me to feel good about me, you know?
You know what? Let's get more specific though. Like, was there dating experiences where you learned this? You know what I'm saying? Like, when I say lessons, I mean like, what are their names? You know, like their lessons.
Okay, maybe I'll
like,
change
oh yeah,
the name.
Tim, that was a lesson.
True. So how
You don't
much
have to say their
time we
names.
have on the podcast? Like, because we got a lot of names to drop.
It's just going to be an hour of this. This is
Okay,
your
so-
counseling session, Jamie. You give back. You give to so many people. It's time for us to give back.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Publicly.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Publicly,
Yeah, publicly.
yes. Yeah, in front
Let's
of
just
like
drag
thousands of
people.
followers. That's good. I'm so excited.
Exactly.
Specific names. I'm not gonna drop specific names.
No, you don't have to.
But
How loud is the piano? Are we doing okay? Is it okay?
It's good.
it's good.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's like a nice
did
movie
you just say-
in the background.
Sad boy music. Did you just say a name?
No.
You don't have to say the name. Oh, okay. Okay. What did
No.
you say?
I think in dating, specifically recently, I have learned that it's not a time filler and it's not something to do just for fun and it's not
Oof.
some like
Preach, girl.
yeah, ooh, come on. And it's not like I shouldn't waste someone's emotions and I shouldn't play with their feelings just because I'm bored.
Oh, you out there breaking hearts, Jamie. That's what I'm learning.
Breaking hearts and taking names. I'm just kidding.
Oh, is that what that list is behind you on that thing? It looks like a motivational quote, but it's just all the names
No.
of...
Yeah, that's you see all like the black spots in there?
Yeah,
It's the names.
those are just
The
little
names,
scratched in names.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I get that where it's like I wrote this song, it was back in the day, it was about like it's like love is something that I used to do for fun. I'm singing on here. But it's like because I would just like kind of date to pass the time a little bit.
Exactly.
And I was like, this is a waste of my time and it's a waste of their time. Like I want the real thing.
Yeah, and then when you get to that spot where you're like, oh, I really want to cut it off, and then you're all, dang, they're invested. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Then
they're out here buying me flowers. I'm all.
It's because you want that real connection, you know. You do, but it's like a surrogate connection because you're like, but then and then it ends painfully because of
Right.
that. So maybe the less. But then how do you do that? Because I don't think it's wrong to date, you know,
No, not at
and
all.
have fun. So what do you think there?
Why did the voice change?
What do you mean by the voice change? This is my voice.
Oh, gotcha.
This is how I always talk. What you talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, I always
even Ronnie
sound
laughed at
like
that.
Shaq.
Like,
This is
Ronnie
how I
was even
always
like,
talk. What? No, I always talk like this. It's not like I'm getting closer to the mic because it's feeling more intimate. Okay, yeah, you got me.
Yeah, I forgot the question.
Well, okay, we don't need the piano anymore on that. I actually am interested in this too because, like, in dating, when I was casually dating or just trying to get to know people, it's hard because you do want that intimacy and that connection, but then when you've gotten to a certain point and you know that you don't want to be with the person or vice versa, it's hard because, like, you know, you don't want to like hurt somebody or get hurt, but
Yeah.
so I guess it's like dating with intention. Maybe that's the lesson.
Right. Yeah. Just like dating's cool. Like you said, you learn things through it. And I feel like you learn more about yourself through it. and what you do and do not want. However, when you go into it knowing like this is what I don't want, you're like, I just want some free dinner, you know? That's when it can get bad, okay? Not saying I've done that at all, by any means.
You're trying to get those half-off apps at Applebee's. I see you, Jamie.
Exactly.
I see you. No, I bet you're classy. Like, I feel like somebody would take you... Because, I don't know, are people intimidated if you're like a... What would you call it? Like, biblical counselor? Or how would you call your... Yeah. Do people in the dating world, do you feel like they're putting on a certain front because of that?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. Like, do they lead with verses? They're like, yeah, that's from Romans 9:22, but whatever.
It is probably the biggest pet peeve of mine too. I'm like, just because
like, just
I'm
be
a
a
biblical
person.
counselor, like, be normal, please. Like,
Yeah.
just
That's
be
so
normal. It's, I don't know. It is so annoying. I'm like, you don't have to like slide into my DMs and be like, listen, babe, the Lord told me that you are the one. I'm like, ew.
I would love that. Have people done that?
Yes, several times. And it's weird, especially from TikTok, because I'll get a bunch of messages from TikTok to my Instagram. People just do that all the time, and I'm all, who are you?
I mean, I love hearing that because I wouldn't know either. Like, it's nice to hear that, you know, you're just, I mean, similar for me. I wouldn't want people to just lead in with, like, because I'm a comedian or anything like that. But same for you. You're just a person at the end of the day. So, like, what do they lead in with? I'm so interested in this.
What do people lead in with?
Or, like, what are some weird ones that you've gotten that were, like, kind of very Christian-y?
Ooh, I got some cheesy Christian pickup lines for sure.
Yeah. Pickup lines.
Oh, no. Yeah, I've got some cheesy Christian pickup lines. Oh, no, it's going to take me a second to think of it, though.
It's okay if you can't think of it right now, but it's just, I'm interested if you do have one. The only ones I know are dirty, so I can't.
I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah.
And no, but like I will say, so dating wise,
yeah,
this is personal.
Okay.
You down to get personal here? Would you date a non-Christian, or are you specifically mainly interested in Christian men?
Yeah, I would not date a non-Christian.
Wow, so many hearts broken on this now.
Okay.
People are gonna be listening to this. They're gonna get to this point and then just cry for the rest.
Like,
so
end.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about that.
I wouldn't, because I feel like it's so important, and that's like such a huge basis in a relationship, is to have those beliefs. Because I feel like if you believe the same thing, you can connect on such a deeper level and such a more intimate level. Like, you can be like, yeah, God said this to me too. He's like, no way, God said this to me today too. You know, you can kind of like get on that level. Not that, I mean, I think some Christians would date non-Christians, and I've seen it, and I've seen it work, you know. But me personally, I don't.
Gotcha.
Mm-mm.
I get that. I mean, I feel like you're somebody who knows what they want. So you're like, I want you to be Christian and have this. But I think when it's would you ever flirt to convert?
That's my motto. No, just kidding. No.
You could save somebody, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
You could be someone's testimony. How hot is that?
Ooh, that is like, I feel like that's when you know you've made it. As a Christian woman, is like when you can be somebody's testimony. Ooh, that's good.
Hey, wait. Let me see. This is the beat we have. I just feel like this is something good we have here. Let me hear it. I think we got something here. Let me try something. But I don't know if the sound effect we have, Jamie, is too loud. I added an effect. So what I was going off of was your is it bad to talk about like a big church, like your Bethel post? Oh. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. Where you walk in and it, like Bethel in 2031 or whatever it was, and the music it's all futuristic and like ravey. Yeah. So I was like trying to make something that's kind of like, it's like church music, but church music now is like so different.
Very.
And I want to ask you about that too, because like Kanye technically has, you know, worship music now, and I listen to like lo-fi hip hop worship music and all this stuff. So it really is evolving and changing, and I don't know if you feel anything about that.
Yeah, I feel like there's some things that you're like, ooh, I don't know if what you're saying is necessarily biblical, but like this is a bop. You know, I'm gonna hang with it. Even though
when I feel like there's a lot of worship music that you could throw in like a baby girl and it like would fit. You know?
Like, are you talking about God or your girlfriend? Like, which one?
Yeah. I just want to pray with you. But let me hear what the sound effect looks like. We don't need the sound effect. Well, maybe later I'll add it in.
I barely heard it.
Can you hear it? Let me hear it. It's like, this background thing that's...
Oh, no, it's not for me.
Yeah. See, I didn't like it. So that's why I paused it. I got insecure. All right, let's hear it again.
So funny thing is when you were like, okay, we're gonna do a beat. That little hi-hat thing that you have in the back, like that. I was literally doing that earlier today. I was like, we need to have that beat. We need to have that hi-hat and the snare or whatever it is.
That's the way the Spirit works.
Yes.
You asked and you received that hi-hat. Lord.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. I was actually... Whoa, sorry, reverb. Oh, see, that's the power of the Lord.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
I was walking here, and I was listening to like the modern worship songs that I listen to now.
Yeah.
And trying to get inspiration. And a lot of them are like trap beats now too.
Will they have that?
They do.
Ronnie,
I'll send you some, Ronnie. I'm gonna convert you by the end of this podcast. Are you gonna
flirt to convert with Ronnie?
Oh yeah, with music. I'm gonna slowly throw in like God into everything. It's like, yeah, so tomorrow we're gonna record the Godcast. And
I won't even question it at some point.
Yeah.
Ronnie's all like, the whatcast?
Let's see. I kind of have this idea in my head. Let me see if this works. Let's see if this works based on what we're talking about. I'm gonna talk it out. Girl, I've been saved by you, girl. You my testimony.
Ooh.
See, I want to do something about that, like how you're their testimony, you know?
Oh. Will this be out on Spotify? Like, can I listen to it?
This will be out on Spotify. You know, we actually do.
Actually, you will.
We actually do want to make beats out of some of them. So if it's like, we're, you know, out of, let's say we do like 100 episodes.
Yeah.
We'll probably pick the top 12 bops and then make them into a full beat.
Love it. That's great.
How about let's try Flirt to Convert.
Ooh, okay.
Let's try that from here. So this is kind of how we do it, is we just sort of like make a chorus, or we can just freestyle it for a while. We've done that with people, so I like what you're saying. Testimony, you gotta flirt to convert. Hold on, no, that didn't work for me. Jamie, this is the most ridiculous one that I've made, I think.
I'm honored.
You should be honored.
It's saying a lot.
It is saying a lot. We've made some pretty crazy beats out there. And if I curse on this, everybody know this isn't the views of Jamie, but we made a song called White Bitches. And yeah. I'm gonna let it run through one time. Just feeling it out. Oh yeah, girl. You gotta flirt to convert. Baby, know that it won't hurt. When I saw you, baby, I've been saved. I think something about getting saved, right? Getting saved in there is good too.
Yeah.
Put that in there.
I've been saved felt right.
Yes.
I almost just want to, I do want to make a chorus for this one because this is such a good condensed idea. How would you, if you were to flirt with a dude, or let's say you were, God works in mysterious ways, right?
Sure, yes.
You meet this guy, he's broken, kind of dark, has a good sense of humor though. And you're like, wow, there's something so attractive to this, but God, I want a Christian man who's already firm in his belief, but something is calling you to him, you know?
Okay.
What would sort of the approach or interaction be there, you think?
Oh, no. Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
What a response.
See, here's my flirting game.
Yeah.
I don't have one. So
I think that's
my
great.
flirting game is hey, what's your favorite type of bread. Like my flirting game is so awful. Yeah. So
so it's sort of
y'all, maybe you need to teach me. Maybe you need to give me the line.
All right, girl.
So that way I can walk up to somebody and I'm like, hey, you cute. And be like, insert pickup line here.
I think I was a broken man once, and by once I mean I still am. And like
you're all once meaning now.
Ronnie's looking back at all the podcasts that we recorded. He's like, I've learned that.
It makes sense now. Yeah.
But I think like I feel like the vulnerability, you know, that's like what gets dudes into faith, if that makes sense. You know, they're just like broke. Because like when I went to church, my first church, it was this one where I like kind of got baptized again. Because I grew up in the Catholic Church, went to Catholic school till I was 18, left the church for like years, and then kind of came back to non-denominational Christian church.
Yeah. And
bought a van and then got baptized in that order.
Okay. So
yes.
Where does the van fit in?
So I was on like a spiritual journey of sorts. Like I was going through like a dark time and wanted to get in touch with the dreams that I had in high school.
Okay.
And when I was in high school, I wanted to travel the country in a van. So I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that I was getting advice from my 17-year-old self. And 17-year-old self wanted to like travel in a VW bus.
Amazing.
And yeah, a little, and part of that was like a big, I felt like it was a big exploration where I was feeling called in some way, and God called me to buy a van, and then I got baptized. I got baptized before I left on the trip. I was like, I want this trip to be anointed.
This is a holy trip.
This is a holy trip in some way. I was also, I mean, I don't know how vulnerable to get on this, so.
You get as vulnerable as you would like, because remember, you just said that vulnerability will
See, that's what I mean. That vulnerability. Because then when you feel like, I feel like as a guy entering the faith, for me, the thing that was so attractive of going back to church was feeling like safe to talk about vulnerable things, where when I grew up in the church, it seemed like you would be shamed for that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people like, which doesn't make sense, because I feel like spirituality should be a safe haven.
Sure.
But growing up, if you were to open up about, you know, like sex or I'm trying to think of like shame, you know, anything that
like
you'd
addiction,
have, like
that kind of stuff.
Addiction, depression, I don't know, mistakes you made like financially or business wise. Back then it was like there was a front that no, we should all just be good and blessed and have it figured out.
Yeah.
It was almost like a cool rich person's club. Like there was like some status to church. I'm not saying that all churches are like this. It was just that was my own perception, and that I grew up with a feeling of, I just felt I left thinking that there was so much hypocrisy. And then when I came back, for me, opening up about mental health stuff, addiction stuff, you know, sex stuff from my past, I felt like I was received with grace. And I think that's sort of what opened me back up to it, because there was so much fear to talk about that stuff in so many other places in my life, and especially in a church situation.
Oh, yeah.
But to have that received with open arms was really good for me. So
yeah.
It's funny how we're saying this as we're about to start a beat.
Right?
Yeah.
You're all now back to flirting to converting.
Flirting to converting. But it's true. I guess that's what I say, where it's like, it's funny how much flirting to converting is like sharing testimonies. Like, hey girl, like, you know, I really liked what you said in small group. And I was thinking maybe we could just get together and share testimonies at a cafe one of these days.
What do you think about, I don't know, starting a Bible study together?
I think that's Christian flirting for sure.
For sure, and it's disgusting. Like, it makes me so, like, my shoulders go up, I get all cringe, like...
I know. You can see through it. That's why I just think, I mean, that's why I like your no game. It really is just being real at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Flirting for me is, like, the most awkward thing in the world. And I don't get awkward. I don't get uncomfortable. Rarely ever. So that's why when you're like, I'm going to make you uncomfortable, I'm like, good luck. Almost never happens. Until it's time to flirt, and then I'm all. Well,
then we gotta have you flirt on this podcast. We should do like a role play just like last time. I'll show. Oh yeah, we can do a lesson. You know how they have those like pickup artist classes for men?
Yeah.
We'll do that.
They have that
for women. They have that.
Have you seen Hitch?
Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh.
Like the date doctor.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I want to find a chorus for this. What is it? Is it sharing testimonies or you are the testimony? You know?
Ooh, so is the song about flirting to converting? Like flirting?
I think so. I think that's where we're at.
So I think you are my testimony. That is a pickup line in itself.
That is. Okay.
Like that is like you walk up to someone and be like, what's up, baby? You my testimony. Like that right there is like, oh.
Testimony. When I saw you, babe, I was saved. And I was lonely, but now you're my testimony. Ooh, yeah, you're my testimony.
I think that's good. I would love to add some like harmonies to that, but I don't know if we do that.
Harmonies are my thing. I love throwing in harmonies. It's my jam.
Maybe we should just layer harmonies right now then.
Let's do it.
What's a good harmony for this? I saw you, babe. So high. How about this? Or I can just do backgrounds. Yeah, what you got, Jamie? You got one?
I think can you play it one more time?
Yeah.
Saw you, babe.
What you got?
Ooh, when I saw you, babe. It's a little higher.
Saw you, babe. Me. Saw you, babe. I saw you, babe.
Let me see if I can hit that.
Try it.
Testimony. When I saw you, babe, I was saved.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you're my testimony.
Yeah.
That's coming together.
I want someone to tell me that in my life.
We'll manifest that for you. Someone will tell you that real soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Jamie, for making that beat with us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go back into questions and everything and asking you about life.
Ask me about life.
Well, now I'm interested. Like the dating question has been a big one, but how did you? Like, you don't have to share your whole testimony on here, but like, how did you sort of start your faith journey?
I mean, I guess like in a nutshell, like the Spark Notes version, because it would take like 2 podcasts to go through all of it.
Sure, 100%.
Spark Notes version. I was super like messed up, super depressed, super anxious, like
It's real.
drinking till I blacked out to kind of like numb everything that I was feeling. And then one night I was just like not having it and I was just done. Got to the point where I actually attempted suicide and should not have woken up the next day.
Wow.
But I did. And so I woke up and I was kind of like, okay, I can't even kill myself right. Like, what the heck? I can't do anything right. But then, so I ended up moving back in with my parents because that's how mentally messed up I was, which kind of plays into why I'm a counselor too. Moved back in with my parents, was struggling, like, if I'm being so real, struggling with like hallucinations and stuff like that. That's how gone I was.
Wow.
And then I just had this idea. I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'm going to fill my time and I'm going to go to church that my brother and sister-in-law told me about. I'll just go. I went and I wasn't having it. It was like a mother's service. I'm like, well, definitely not a mom. So not going to go back. Ended up going back. Went back the next Sunday and the pastor like turned and like pointed in my direction. I was like he was like staring into my soul. And he was like, I feel like someone over here, and this is a mega church. He was like, someone over here needs to hear that, like, there's a reason why you're alive. And like, God wants to take your pain. And he just went on. I don't remember everything that he said, but I'm just bawling. I'm like, that's me. Like, pick me. That's me. Pick number 3, my Lord. Like, that was me. And yeah, so since that day, I was like, you know what? I can't keep living like this. So I gave my life to Jesus, then got baptized. And since then, I've been like full on in ministry. Haven't had a hallucination or suicidal thought. Like, it's been awesome.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And I understand that that's a Spark Notes version because I'm sure there's so many layers and questions, even like doubts, and then God showing up in those moments. And so it's really powerful. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you were in that time, you know, from the sort of like suicidal stage of everything. Like I for me, I went through like suicidal thoughts, like literally right before I started going to church as well. And then going to church, even it being a mega church, then feeling sort of God or, calling you or coming to you. Was there any resistance, or right away did you know like, oh, this is good. This is something bigger than myself?
Well, I literally couldn't resist it. It was weird. Like when they're like, okay, if this is you, if you need to come up here, like get prayed for right now. I was just like, that's me. Like got up out of my chair super quick, which is weird because I was so paranoid walking in. I was like, everyone's looking at me. Everyone thinks that I'm a sinner, which I am. Like everyone is looking at me thinking like, who's that hot mess, But I just got up and bolted it, like beelined for the front because I was like, I couldn't contain it. I couldn't just sit in my seat. I'm like ready to go. Like it was like, when they call the water boy in to finally play? Like I feel like that's the feeling I had. I was like, yes, I'm in. Throw me in, coach,
Yeah. Something's wrong with your medulla oblongata. I just had to throw that in. Because Waterboy is one of my favorite movies. So good. Like through that hard time and then transitioning into faith, if there was any doubts or like questioning of what that was that you were getting at church when they were pointing in your direction, saying like, someone over here needs to know there's a reason they're alive.
Yeah. In that moment, there was zero doubt. Like I knew, kind of like you asked me in the very, very beginning, the first question is like, how do you know it's God rather than you? Like I knew in that moment, I was like, yeah, that ain't me, because I know my thoughts are depressive. I know my thoughts are suicidal, and my thoughts are like dark. And that wasn't dark. Like that was love. That was like, hey, someone wants me alive. Wow, that's new, So that was, in that moment, zero doubt.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really awesome to hear, especially if I can relate to when I was going through my sort of depression, and that's sort of what brought me back to God as well. It was like just almost so much negative self-talk, and then all of a sudden this talk that was more unconditional love. So then what was your journey from just coming, as we would call it, like a brokenness or, sinner, whatever. I mean, we're still sinning, of course, but from that to, being in ministry and like working in the church, that seems really tough, because I know I still struggle with like, do I fit in here at this church with the things that I say on stage or this or that, or just feeling like I belong, or, so how did you sort of transition into like seeing yourself serving in the church?
Yeah, it was a little bit before I started serving, and it was one of those things where like I saw the community that people built when they started like volunteering their time in the church. I saw that, and I didn't have anybody, and I wanted that, and it was so just enticing. So I just started serving, just jumped in and did it, and then within like a month they had me as like leadership. So it was just something that I fell in love with. And then I think realizing too that like you don't have to be perfect. And I think that's something that people see, if I'm being so real, something I think people see about me.
Yeah.
Is they look at me and they're like, oh, she's this perfect little Christian girl that has like, this platform on Instagram of God, but y'all, like, I love Jesus, but I cuss a little bit. Like,
yeah. No, see, I have so many questions about that. Yeah.
It's one of those things like, you're not perfect. You're trying to be more like Jesus, but you're not perfect. So accepting that and not letting it beat you down every single time is, I think that's the most essential part of leadership, is because you're still human and you're still learning, I
appreciate that so much, to hear a perspective where someone is admitting that they're still working through a lot of stuff and serving at the same time, because there's this expectation of, oh, you have to have it perfectly down and have all the answers, and then you can hold that position. But I would imagine that, every like even pastor is going through their stuff still. And like, I've been trying so hard not to curse on this podcast.
I'm so proud of you. You've done really
thanks.
Good.
Well, because I wanted to have a guest, like I wanted to have you on to share stuff like with faith and all that, but really is an excuse for me to also talk about it too, because I don't really get to talk about it openly on stage or other platforms. And I'm afraid to like curse or like upset Christians, and I go to church. So it's something I'm still working on, like how to talk about God, but still be myself and authentic with that, because I don't think I'm perfect. And I think that's what has allowed me to have a relationship with God, is believing that God will meet me where I'm at.
Sure.
Instead of like, God's like, yeah, try a little harder, you know?
Right. And that's actually one thing I told my comedian friend. Like, I have another friend that's a comedian, and he was kind of saying the same thing to me, is like, I want to use the platform because like a platform is a place of influence. No matter where, like if you're on that stage, you're influencing people.
Sure.
And I said, like, how you can still be used and not say like specific things, if that makes sense. Like, you don't have to be like, listen, God loves you. Like, you can just show that.
Yeah.
You can model that. You can be that. You can make people laugh, which is brightening up their day. You never know who's in the audience and like struggling with something, you know?
Yeah.
And what if you're that person that makes them laugh and like helps them carry on? You never know. And I think fearing that you're not going to be used is going to keep you from being used, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I love what you said there too, like not having to directly say, hey, God loves you. Because I did have this thought the other day where I was like, seeing how much a belief in God and a relationship with God has helped me and like really just saved my life, honestly. And like I just had so many habits that were killing me and then getting to depression. And so I had this thought where I was like, I wish that everybody felt that and knew that like God loved them. And not in the condescending way that like I thought it would mean when people grew up, where it's like, hey, you're a sinner, but God loves you. And like, you know, like the guy standing on the street corner condemning everybody. Mm-hmm. So not in that way, but from a real way of like, I think if people felt this strength from unconditional love, that could bring so much into their lives. And trying to think of how to make people feel that from the stage.
Right.
And is that directly saying it, or is it just, I don't know, like being silly, like, and seeing like, hey, there's this break that you can get from whatever you're going through. I'm still figuring that out. So I do respect that you're a little bit more directly in that world, you know, with ministry and counseling. So that's why I'm fascinated to talk to you about this stuff. Yeah.
Well, one thing is like, what do you have to offer, you know, and what do you have to bring to the table? And if making people laugh is what you have to bring to the table, then that's what you got. You know, you shouldn't feel bad about like not doing it like somebody else, because you're not supposed to do it like somebody else. You're supposed to do it like you know?
Yeah. That's so good.
If I had a mic, I'd drop it.
Yeah. We'll send you a mic to drop.
I have one in there and I was going to actually use it for today, but I didn't.
That's okay. You have the cool gaming chair. That's enough for us.
Yes. Yeah.
I almost feel like selfishly I've been able to get such good advice from people as having them be guests on this. Like I feel like I'm getting a free counseling session from you.
Yeah, I know you got some like dating advice from your last, you know, it was good.
Yeah, from Cheryl.
Yeah.
But realistically too, that's such a struggle. I feel imposter syndrome in the church. I've had people comment on a YouTube video one time, or when people, it was one guy, but just long thing of like, how dare you talk about God in your act, and like this is blasphemy. And then I was telling him like, you know, I just gave a really short response. I was like, I am a Christian, I do believe in God, and I believe that God has a sense of humor, and this is the way that my relationship with God is, and I hope that reaches the right people. I didn't say those exact words, but something like that.
You ultimately said they were like, shut up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. You know what? You shut the fuck up.
But then in your mind, you're like, no, God's going to use me the way I want to be.
Yeah, in my mind, I was like, God's using me, and like, this should reach you, and you should feel that. But I just like, something so not eloquent. But no, like, but other people kind of had my back on it, which is cool, like saying, hey man, chill out. Like, it does get to me, because the reason maybe I was so sensitive to that is my whole mindset isn't to get out there and offend Christians, but I would like to maybe reach people who are on the fence.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's say they see that they think I'm funny or like what I'm doing, and then had a real conversation with me, and then started to see, oh, this is a good guy. I wonder like what else there is about him. And then started to see I have this relationship with God, and I'm not trying to like throw it onto them or force them. I accept everybody where
absolutely
like, in any belief. Then maybe in that way they could start to reconsider like faith in their life and whatever that would mean.
Offense is perceived, so people are always going to be offended, and it's one of those things like you choose to be offended what you want to be offended about. I'm going to keep doing me and what I feel like I need to do, and if you're going to be offended, like Christians of all people are the ones who should not be offended.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
It's strange that like the things that are in the actual message or belief, and I'm not the best to speak on this, but like in some ways, like if Jesus was hanging out with prostitutes and prisoners, so in this day and age, he would be the one that's like out there in the sort of raw sort of fringes.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think Christians are the first to be like, what? You're hanging out with prostitutes and prisoners? Like, what's wrong with you? Not all Christians.
A lot of them.
A lot, yeah. So how did you come to your mindset with that? Because I would say there's a lot of different kinds of Christians out there. Some are a little bit more judgmental, but you seem to be a little more chill.
Well,
chill Christian.
A little more chill. Because how is that going to invite people in if I'm judgmental? Like, yeah, I'm supposed to reflect God. And if I'm judging others and if I'm saying, oh my gosh, JR, the way you said that in yours, not having it, and God hates that. You know, like if I did that, you're not going to be like, you're right, let me repent. That doesn't work that way. I'm going to model that. I'm going to show people what love is. So that way they're like, ooh, and they want more. It's like a little, you're throwing out the little bait, ultimately. Sounds awful. Sounds terrible. But you throw out the bait and then they bite and you're all, let's go, you know, really.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, kind of modeling it. I do think like there is something to just being an example in someone's life, just being like a good person or showing up for them. And then, because that can be for anything. It's like, if that was somebody from AA or some, you know, for example, I'm sober. So like, and you keep showing up to them with a problem, and then you see like, wow, how did this guy like kind of get his life together? And then you ask, and then you find out they're in AA. You might not go right away, but eventually start to think like, okay, if that did work for this person, let me just give it a try. Mm-hmm. So I think there's something real to that. Getting real on the podcast.
Getting real on Bits and Beats.
I love it. Oh yeah, you talked about how your first church was like a mega church. Mm-hmm. Do you have any thoughts on like? So I'm asking you all about the church things because I don't get to talk about this.
That's okay.
But
ask away.
One of the churches I went to when I first came to Sacramento was like a big mega church, but the music was so good.
Yes.
And so I have this struggle still with like churches like just being rich and it being good, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like trying to figure it out. Where I don't think that it's bad for a church to make money and be successful, but
sure.
I was just going to get your thoughts on just the mega church culture.
Right, but what are they doing with that money? You know?
That's the big question, huh? That's what it is.
That was one thing about the mega church and that I didn't like. It's like, okay, so I see that you bought a car for that person, which is fantastic, and I love that. Mm-hmm. How many people can we feed in the community? How many hearts can we go out and reach? And it's like, do you really need that $1 million house or several $1 million house? Or could you use some of that money to go change a whole city? That's one thing about the mega church that I'm not in their budget meetings. I don't know what they do with it, but that's one thing I've noticed. And as I was kind of higher in that mega church, like I was on the worship team and everything, I noticed that there were some amazing people and I absolutely like love those people dearly. But then there was some stuff that I was like, ooh, I don't know if I agree with that. Ooh, I don't know if that's what we should be doing. While it's production based and it's kind of like you go for this experience, you go for the haze and like the great piano player with an awesome personality and, you know.
Yeah, and a deep V-neck.
Right.
Wait, what a deep V.
Oh, I was like, I don't have a deep V-neck.
No, not you. This like, you know, there's always like the bassist with like a deep V.
Yes, always the bassist. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
I was talking about me. I was the piano player. Yeah.
Oh, you were the piano player.
I was the piano player.
Gotcha. Yeah. I could see you getting it. Like, on the piano out there.
Oh, I get it.
But yeah, so you would go there for that and like to see, you know, the worship team and everything. Yeah.
I think it's amazing for people who are just starting out and just like learning how to take the baby steps in Christianity. I think there's a place for it for sure. But again, what are we doing with the money?
I think the best way I think to look at it is like, it's okay to make money, but what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
How are you using it? Well, wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll step away from just faith talk with you. I know I'm just interested because I don't get to talk about that stuff
great.
on here.
No, ask whatever.
What are you doing in Arizona these days? Like when you're not doing church stuff? I mean, I know it's probably a big part of your life too.
It's a few days of the week. I'm actually like doing social media management. So I run people's social medias like all over the world. So yeah, I mainly do that, counseling, and just hang out with friends.
I'm fascinated with that because you can do that remotely, right? That would technically be a remote job. Would you, if you didn't have your church, would you be like traveling around and stuff with that?
Sometimes like people might want me to travel to like go take pictures because I do photography and videography as well. So they might want me to travel to take pictures or like videos of what they need and stuff like that. And I would totally do that. It's just balancing what they want versus my schedule.
It's pretty crazy that you've built all that up because I think this is a question that a lot of people would wonder because I think a lot of people want to do what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
How did you learn to do social media management and just like help build different clients' businesses and stuff?
Yeah. After that mega viral video, I was kind of like, ooh, I made a lot of money from that. I want to keep doing that. So I just kept posting and realized I'm like, okay, these aren't doing so well. These aren't doing so well. So I just did research and just sat down and just researched how to make a great TikTok, short form content, long form, just researched all that stuff. And then a company reached out to me. It's a pretty big company. Reached out to me and they're like, hey, can you run our TikTok?
Wow. Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure. So I kind of learned on the go. And I'm still learning, but now I'm taking what I'm learning and just kind of applying it to different companies and they find it valuable.
So sick.
So
that's so sick. It looks really good. I've been seeing the way that you, and I like how you kind of even give educational advice on there, like info on how to sort of bankroll content or like, if you can't think of anything, write down a bunch of ideas so that when you are going to sit down and make stuff. So I just have so much respect for how you've built it up.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
You killing the game, Jamie.
Trying. I'm a boss babe. It's a hard life. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You got that boss babe gamer chair too. I think when we were on Diego's pod, what did we talk? We talked about like you got into a fight or something.
Yeah, we talked about that. And it was literally about 50% consumed of my dating life, which is like non-existent. So that's why I was like, okay, I don't got much to talk about here.
Talk about something else there.
And then the other 40% of the rest of it was like the times that I threw down and like beat people up. So
yeah, it's what a contrast.
Right. Yeah.
It's like how many times you beat people up. When was the last time you beat someone up?
Ooh, when was the last time I beat somebody up?
And you're not like a trained fighter. You're just a street fighter.
No, I'm a trained fighter.
Oh, really? What did you train in?
Muay Thai and boxing.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have trained people. Like I am a boxing trainer, so I train other people how to punch people. It's great.
Yeah. I do jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and boxing right now.
Nice. I did jiu-jitsu a little bit.
You did a little bit. So wait, do you still train to this day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh snap! So when you get in a fight, it's like technical.
I'm like, dang it, I missed that 3. Darn it.
Yeah.
Turn my shoulder a little bit more on that uppercut.
Yeah. Oh, slip. Yeah, body hook.
Yeah,
would you so what was the last time you got in a fight?
Okay, this was BC, before Christ. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. BC.
It's okay to get in a fight after Christ too, just letting that out for people,
Yeah.
Like try not to. I'm just saying like it happens and we forgive you.
There's that little jingle's like, try Jesus, not me, because I throw hands.
Toby Nwigwe.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so try Jesus, not me, because I throw hands, okay?
Exactly.
Okay, so the last time I got in a fight, I was at the community college. And so this revolves around a group of guys.
Ooh, this is peaceful background music for this.
It is. Yeah. I feel like I'm about to get a facial. Like I'm about to go in for a massage. Yet I need to tell, for some reason, the last time I beat the crap out of somebody?
Just think of me as your like Filipino spa lady.
Could you really play the role, please?
Oh, I really could do that for you. You're so beautiful. I just, I think you need to let out your stress and tell me about the last time you got into a fight.
Yes. So the last time I beat somebody up. Can you like massage my feet in like the water when I do it?
Oh yeah, your feet are so stressed, baby.
Yes.
Okay, let's
You're okay, anyways.
Yeah, and there's fish in the water for some reason. And afterwards you can cook them and eat them.
That's disgusting because they're gonna have like my feet in it.
It's okay, baby. I don't know why you saying baby. I don't think they say that.
I don't think so.
It's okay. It's good for you. It's nutrients. Okay, tell me your story.
The last time I
Don't
beat somebody up.
distracted.
So I was at the community college, okay? And this chick, it was a biology class. Got to start off with that. It was biology. This chick was mad at me because I got placed with the group of guys. Couldn't control it. I didn't choose it. It chose me. And I was placed with this group. Apparently, she had a little high school crush on one of the guys in the group.
Of course.
And I was threatening to her relationship, apparently.
But she wasn't with this boy? She wasn't with that boy?
No. It was my personality, my great personality and dashing good looks that apparently caused this jealousy.
You're so beautiful, it threatens her.
Yeah, my humbleness too. And so I went to the bathroom, okay? It was break time for me. Left my backpack because who brings their backpack to the bathroom? Just psychopaths. Go to the bathroom. I'm walking back with my group. We're getting ready to talk about our group project. And I don't even know her name. Let's call her Brenda.
Oh, Brenda. She sounds like a witch. Brenda's the name of a witch. She's a witch. I'm from the Philippines. I know a witch when I hear a witch. Brenda's a bad witch. Anyways, continue.
So Brenda is sitting so very clearly when I'm walking down that corridor. Like, I want to paint this picture for you, okay? I am walking down this corridor in the 110-degree Tucson heat. Brenda is sitting at the end on this little chair, kicking her feet up with my backpack next to her. Which is like, you want the backpack? Brenda, take the backpack. But she has my wallet. She has my debit card out of the wallet, and she has my $50 bill. How I had a $50 bill, I don't know. But she had it in her hands, okay? And so she's just chilling there, eating like my freaking snacks from my backpack. I was like, Brenda, you hungry? Man. Take them. Like, go for it, but ask. Yeah. So I walk up to her, I was like, Brenda. Hey, listen. Cute, adorable. Let's go ahead and give this back and let's just call it a wash, And she stands up and gets in my face. Like those movies where the girls like try to play all tough and like, what you want, And they get all like up in your face. And I'm all, listen, Brenda, just give it back. We won't have any problems. Like, all will be well. Brenda didn't like that idea, so Brenda spit in my face.
Oh, Brenda made a big mistake.
Brenda done goofed.
Yeah. So
I do okay, so have you seen that girl thing that they do when they're mad? They lick their teeth. Have you seen that? Yeah, so if a girl...
Yeah, UFC fighters do that too.
Yes, yes. So if a girl licks her teeth, run. That's my piece of advice that I'm going to give to you. If a girl licks her teeth, run. So I take a step closer to Brenda. And Brenda and I are like nose to nose. Like, you could do a little like, like we're nose to nose. And
I picture like Street Fighter. You know how in Street Fighter where it's like they're fighting but everyone's just in the background like chilling and doing their thing? Like, I feel like this is a Street Fighter moment. Because I wonder what the guys are all thinking at this time.
I wouldn't be... They were just kind of standing there. They didn't even do anything. So I think they wanted it to happen.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if
that's
like
100% what was happening.
Is that a weird guy thing? Like guys want to see girls throw down?
Well,
Yes.
It's something to watch.
It is. It's always entertaining. Like you always kind of want to see a fight, but don't.
I love that Ronnie jumps in. Like this whole time has been dead silent. But when it comes to like wanting to see girls throw down, he was like, yeah, that's a good idea. You know? He like
Yeah,
jumps
been there.
in
Tell me
there.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Ronnie's the podcast hype man. We talked about this where like he'll definitely like he'll reaffirm what's happening in it. He's like, oh yeah, girl fighting.
I feel very reaffirmed. So they were all standing back, right? And heck, I don't even know which one she liked. So she spit in my face. I take a step forward. I was like, I'm gonna need you to give me. And at that time, by the way, I was already training in boxing. I was like, I'm gonna need you to give me that.
That's that confidence when you box, because you know like you can whoop that ass, you know?
Exactly.
Like when you talk like that, it's like, hey, look, I'm just gonna tell you this one time, and then I'm gonna whip your ass.
Exactly.
like,
You're doing
you
them
just
a
gotta
favor.
be so.
I love that. Yeah.
So I got my quiet voice, which is another sign. Take notes. Another sign: if a girl gets quiet, run. I get my quiet voice, and I said, "You get this back, or we're gonna have some problems. Okay, we're gonna have some issues." And here's what Brenda does. She does the little
On your
shoulder
forehead?
push. No,
shoulder.
Sorry, a little.
It's like, oh, what, she like massaged your forehead?
Ow.
with the movement you're doing? Okay, so she gave you a little shoulder push.
She gave me a little shoulder push, and that's when pre-Jesus boxing Jamie went vroom, like blacked out.
Ooh,
And,
she's pre-Jesus, by the way. Pre-Jesus.
Yeah, pre-Jesus. So it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like if that happened to me, I'd be like, "Ow, stop! I'm sensitive." So I went into her pockets and I started grabbing the stuff back, and she scratched my face. And then I got up and she went at me, and I took her back down. And I said, "Listen, Brenda, you're not gonna win this fight. Like, just stop now. I don't want to hurt you, but I will. So you're not gonna win this. And here's the thing: you should quit while you're not ahead. Like, you don't want to end up going to the emergency room."
You were gonna help her find Jesus.
I was like, "Is that another? Maybe we should change the beat to like."
Fight to find Jesus.
Fight
I don't know.
Fight to the light, you know?
Flirt to convert, fight to the light, or hurt to convert.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. It's a thought for next time.
That's
but anyway, she got up and she came at me.
Where are the teachers and stuff?
So my teacher eventually came out and called security.
Okay.
Over a while.
So security came and took me away. And took her away too.
There's like a World Star video.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty great. I ended up telling security what happened. They're like, "Oh, okay, you're good," and they just sent me back to class.
Wow.
So,
Is this Tucson?
yes, I was in Tucson.
Oh yeah.
So Brenda, if you're
Arizona just
watching
lets
this,
everything
I'm
fly.
not sorry.
Oh, Brenda. Oh, Brenda.
Let's go out for coffee, Brenda.
Yeah.
Her to
That was a
convert.
wonderful, calm little spa story there.
Yeah.
We'll start to wrap this up, but like,
It was like, can we end on a different note?
I was gonna say. No, that's good. It's good because I think it's cool to see like all the different sides of somebody, like in a sense of, somebody would see somebody who's doing ministry stuff and assume like, oh, they've just never done anything crazy in their life. When it's a lot of times it's the opposite. Like, because of all the crazy stuff that I've done, that's sort of like why
Oh, yeah.
I go to church now. I need it.
Absolutely. I'm like, man, I got to make up for all the crazy crap that I did.
Well, what are the sort of like what's next for you right now? Like, what are you focused on? And is there anything you want to lead people to here as far as like social media, counseling, or any services like that you provide?
Yeah. So ultimately, my goal now and next steps for me are just to continue to grow my businesses and continue to share Jesus through them. I have my counseling page, or like mental health as it relates to the Bible, and that's just JamieLynn _. And then I have my social media management page, which is Moments Captured by Jamie. And either or, like if you want social media, you can go there and get your tips, or if you want counseling, you can go there and get your tips. But one-on-one consults, all of them, just reach out. We'll chat.
Sweet. Well, thanks, Jamie. This was so fun, and I feel like people are going to get so much out of this conversation and a lot of things you shared.
A lot of boxing techniques, yeah.
Boxing technique, and most of all, flirting to converting.
Exactly.
Saw you, babe. I was saying,
Yes.
I was lonely, but now you're my testimony.
Yeah.
You're my testimony.
There we go. Thanks, Jamie.
Beautiful.
And it's been
Thank
a pleasure.
you guys. Appreciate it.
Oh, praise the Lord. Amen. What a good episode. Such a holy, just faithful, spirit-filled. That was basically church, except I think we might have cut it out, but I said horny for the Lord. And I think it's going to be edited out. I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
So I don't know why I put it in the outro, but other than that, it was just a very clean, purified thing. It was fun to talk about faith on the podcast because I don't really talk about it. And who knows, maybe I will, maybe I won't in the future, but it's nice to have a space to talk about it as an entertainer. That being said, we're open to all faiths. We're open to all faiths. I think because you know what happened? I started to say Allstate, like the insurance.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
It's just like, it's like your brain is looking for words and like, oh, here it is. And it's like dark and it finds this word and it's like, oh shit, nope, that's not a word. That's not the word you're looking for.
Just put it out there.
Yeah, just put it out. Allstate.
Yeah.
You're in good hands. So all faiths, I truly believe that. I think, everyone's on their own journey, but a belief and a faith has helped me in my life. So it's nice to talk about it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed Jamie. She's such an awesome guest. Go follow her on her socials. Get some Bible counseling if you're interested in that, or just like enjoy her content. She has some really good stuff about social media management and marketing that could be helpful for anybody with a business or a social media presence. Check out exclusive content on the Patreon, Bits and Beats, patreon.com/Bits and Beats. And we've also got our socials, our Instagram Bits and Beats pod page. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, everything. So go check it out. All right, I guess we'll just end with another fade out here, Ronnie. Let's see, what's the topic this time? The last one we ended with something that was about getting canceled with accents. Do you think that blasphemy is cancelable?
I don't know.
Smart answer. Because I don't think it should be. I mean, I think because then now there should be separation of church and cancellation. Because maybe you said something that's offensive